In the tapestry of life, where every thread holds a story, America in Black and White emerges as a haven for the voices echoing through the heart of our communities. In this podcast, we wade through the rivers of our collective experiences, celebrating the vibrant hues of change brought forth by the whispers of hope and the roars of action. It's more than just a conversation. It's a journey into the heart of our society, illuminated by the light of those daring to dream and do. Join us, and let your voice be the melody that guides us toward a dawn where every color finds its place in the masterpiece of our shared destiny. Together, let's paint a future brimming with the positives that dwell in our minds and the actions that shape our world.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of America in Black and White, where we are coloring conversations on the canvas of America. Tonight, our special guest is Mr. Osborn Oz Nesbitt Sr. Osborn is a dynamic public servant, author, and community leader whose work has shaped the civic and cultural landscape of Georgia. As chairman of Rockdale County's Board of Commissioners, Oz leads with vision, integrity, and deep commitment to inclusive governance. His leadership is marked by strategic innovation, transparent communication, and a relentless focus on community uplift. Beyond public office, Oz is a proud member of the 100 Black Men of America, where he mentors youth, fosters leadership, and advances his equity through education and empowerment. As an author, he shares his journey and insights with clarity and conviction, offering readers a blueprint for purpose driven leadership. Oz's commitment to community engagement is personal and profound. Whether organizing local initiatives or advancing for systemic change, he centers the voices of those often left out of the conversation. His legacy is shaped by powerful influences, his Aunt Mattie Burney's wisdom, James Brown's unapologetic Black pride, and State Senator Charles W. Walker's political brilliance. His appearance tonight here on American Black and White is a celebration of leadership rooted in culture, service, and enduring power of Black history. Ladies and gentlemen, Oz Nesbitt.
Good evening, Dr. King. Can you see me there?
No, sir, I can't see you.
I don't know what's going on. Let's figure this out. Okay. Hang on one second. I don't know. I've got my. Okay. All right. I can hear you, but I
I see your initials on the screen.
Yes, sir. I'm trying to get you a live. Hold on a minute. All right. How's that?
Still can't see you.
Okay. Oh man. All right. Okay. All right. Well, I tell you what, I am trying to figure out the technology here to uh, get us a live photo of me.
Do you think you need to maybe
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. All right. What about that? That still didn't do it.
no?
Okay. I don't know what cleared. I thought that just clicked on. I have no idea. Let me try something else. Let me keep playing the video settings. Let's go here. Video. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on. I'll try one more.
Do you look? Can you see where you look down to the bottom of your screen where you see where it's got the camera icon? Is that off? Is that got a line going through it, or is it just clear?
Well, on my side, it is clear. Let me. I'm looking at the settings.
Your settings.
I'm actually looking at the settings for the. Hold on. Okay. I took the line off of it, and it should have brought me. You should be seeing me.
Mm-hmm.
See. I tell you.
Do you think you need to reboot your computer? Maybe.
Well, maybe we can try that.
Or would you do you have your phone that's got a camera on it?
I do. You're in the okay. It says that I'm in the show. Let me make sure I'm not, because I think it's whatever it is. I think it's something real simple.
It normally, yeah, it normally is one of those little things that you just miss.
Local video. No, I'm sure my device can handle it. I hate to pull us out. I think we should move forward. Or if you suggest that I reboot, it's much better with the computer versus the phone, of course.
Yeah.
What do you prefer, Doc?
Well, I mean, if you can log on with your phone, try logging in with your phone.
Okay.
If you log in with your phone, then just remember you have to get out of the computer login though, because it's going to give you a whole bunch of feedback.
Right. Hold on. Camera and microphone allowed. Hold on. I just can't believe it. I've been on Zoom meetings all day and I've not had any issue. Okay. All right. Let me try this with the phone, and if I can get it, I'll. Okay. Allow. Okay. All right. I'm gonna come out of the computer because I can see myself on the phone here.
Okay. There we go.
All right, sir.
Alrighty.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you and I can see you.
Okay. All right. Very good. And I apologize for that. And I appreciate all your patient viewers and listeners and podcast subscribers for being patient. Technology does what technology does, or let me admit, operator error.
So, is there anything you'd like to add to your bio before we jump into the show?
The only thing I would add is that, first of all, my roots are rooted in the belief of God. I'm Bible based in terms of my faith. I am a man of God. I'm not a holy roly. I am a man of God. Why did I say I'm not a holy roly? Because my life is Bible based, but I'm also known to cuss from time to time.
Okay.
That's my disclaimer. That's the real truth. I just want to put it out there. Sometimes people get twisted for folks who are Bible based versus those people who are listening and watching who are holy rollers. I'm not a holy roller. I am Bible based.
So let's start with your leadership in public office. And, basically, I guess I want people to get the opportunity to know a little bit more about your role as chairman and your approach to governance. Can you tell us what inspired you to pursue public office in Rockdale County?
Well, Rockdale County was my pursuit in terms of a geographical location. I think it started many, many years ago when I grew up in Augusta, Georgia, in public housing, seeing seeing the dynamics of the community, what happens in public housing and what we call the projects, knowing that at some point in my adult life, I would have an opportunity to make a difference. So I really believe that the seed was planted and resonated with me many, many, many moons ago. And through the trajectory of my life, my church, my community, my early childhood education, college, and community combined, it was able to evolve. And God brought me full circle with my calling.
Mm. Oh wow, now that in itself, that's very enlightening. And I appreciate you for even wanting to share that with us. And with our premise and our what this platform is about is basically is to target the underserved and marginalized communities, such as those communities. And so, with what you have been able to accomplish in your life, can you tell our audience, you know, what was it that gave you that extra motivation that pushed you to do what you're doing now?
I think it was the struggle. The struggle itself is what gave me that extra motivation because um, I spent the first early years of my young adult life, 15 years to be exact, in law enforcement. And these were not too many years after growing up and living in public housing. Matter of fact, let me give you a timetable. My family, we left public housing, the projects in 1980.
Hmm.
In 1985, I was sworn in as a young deputy sheriff
Oh wow.
5 years later. So I understood the plight and the struggle itself is what really pushed me to be able to serve my community because I'm really caught up with the understanding of giving back. It's a blessing to be a blessing, but really, my grandmother often talked about never getting amnesia. Amnesia. In other words, don't you forget where you come from.
Okay.
And Dr. King, I must tell you that there were multiple people that helped me individually, and there were multiple people that helped my family collectively. So I've always felt obligated, just obligated to give back, to help, and to serve because that's basically all I know is to help. So when the opportunity came, pushing the fast forward button to 2008 here in Atlanta by way of Conyers and Rockdale County, when the opportunity came for me to place my name on the ballot and become an elected official where I can really bring about major change in the community, I took advantage of that opportunity. It was just, it's been part of my ministry and the call that God has had on my life, all of my life.
Mm. So, how has your leadership style evolved since becoming chairman?
I realized that I served 8 years as a regular county commissioner here in Rockdale County in the state of Georgia, where as a regular county commissioner, um, which is a very important job, my responsibility was a policy maker, a legislator, uh, to appropriate funds for the county budget to make sure that the sheriff receive the funds he needs to do his job and operate his office, the fire chief, parks and recreation, senior services, roads and bridges, making sure that the infrastructure have the right amount of funding to maintain, sustain, and improve and upgrade our local infrastructure. So I did 8 years from that capacity. Then the very next 8 years, I served as the chairman CEO. That position allowed me to serve from a more corporate chief ambassador standpoint. In other words, when I dealt with economic development, I dealt with education. I was able to make sure that I could connect with the dollars downtown under the gold dome at the state capitol and on 100 Pennsylvania Avenue at the White House to make sure that those federal funds and state funds are allocated to come to the local community for Rockdale County and the city of Conyers, that I served as the chief ambassador to make sure that we brought that money home. We brought the bacon home, so to speak. And I've always believed that there's not a louder voice, a more robust of a voice in this community than Oz Nesbitt.
Wow. Okay, now, can you tell us, as it comes to that legislation, like, how do you decide, how each of these districts, I'm assuming, are to get money, funding, and for what? How is that allocated, and are you like the decision maker?
Well, I'm not the ultimate decision maker. I wasn't the ultimate decision maker. But let me say, I'm so glad. That's a wonderful question you're asking, Dr. King. And let me say this to you. Oftentimes, cities and counties spend a lot of time doing disparity studies. Well, the best disparity study is to get in your car and drive in the community, to park your car and get out and walk the community, to visit a local church, to visit a local community, to go to the basketball court, to show up at the barbershop. That's the best disparity study that any legislator, any leader can do. And versus spending hundreds and thousands of dollars calling in a consultant to give you data and stats and statistical that's going to cost you a ton of money. All you got to do is get from behind your desk, go out into the community, go to the playground, go to the basketball court. Again, go to the barbershop, visit the local church, go to the nightclub, go to the nightclub. Find out where the people drive in the streets, in the communities. Go to every community. That gives you a better survey, a better polling of what's really happening in a real-time experience, what's happening in the community. Once you've done that, you see firsthand where the needs are.
Wow. Look, I got to give you an applause on that, because that is like, you couldn't have said that no better. But for some strange reason, it seems like in a lot of these elected positions, such as yours and maybe higher, is that they feel like, oh, let me just get somebody to go out there and tell me what's happening, and that they don't like to do that. So I'm trying to figure out, does that kind of like change in how legislation is actually looked at? Because if they're not actually seeing it for themselves, how can they make those decisions?
Dr. King, let me give you 3 R's. I want you to write this down. I'm going to give you 3 R's, the letter R. The first R, real. The second R is raw. And the third R is relevant.
Oh,
real, raw, and relevant. What that means, you have to literally be boots on the ground. You literally have to be there in the midst of it all, in the thick of it, in the trenches where the people are. It wasn't anything out of the ordinary or anything. I got to get a haircut. I got to go to the barbershop. I push my buggy at Kroger or Publix or Food Depot. Depending on what my budget is that particular month determines which grocery store I go to. I go to church. I talk to people after church. I fellowship with people. I move throughout the community. I go to the basketball court. I show up where people are. I stop by the nightclub. I talk with those people there doing happy hour. I understand. So you have to be real, raw, and relevant. And while we're in this space, let me just throw this in. We're coming up on our midterm elections. We're also coming up on the election for our state governor here in the state of Georgia. I want to remind every one of your listening audience out there, make sure that you are voting for people not because they are Black, not because they are Democrat, not because they are Republican, but because they are real, raw, and relevant. You have to really do some soul searching and make sure that the people that you're going to elect, you're going to give your precious vote, your precious vote. People have died, bled, been killed for the ability and the right to vote. You're not just going to give that up to just anybody simply because they're Black, they're white, they're Republican, they're Democrat, or just because there's somebody. You need to do some fact finding. Google the person, search the person, find out, ask the hard questions, show up at one of those town halls or one of those campaign events that they're hosting and ask them the uncomfortable questions. Let me say that again. Let me calm down and say it again. I need you to ask the uncomfortable questions. I want you to ask the question that you know everybody's thinking about that nobody wants to ask or somebody is afraid to ask. Don't just vote for somebody just because somebody tells you. I need you to do your homework.
what are the biggest challenges facing Rockdale County today?
When you say today, today's date is the 9th day of October in the year 2025. And I believe that the biggest challenge facing the county is making sure that all of our local residents are registered to vote and they're prepared for this upcoming midterm election. Aside from the election and the voting process, I think people are struggling every day trying to make ends meet. People literally are living barely paycheck to paycheck. And let me just go ahead and put this out there. I think once upon a time when we would say that people were living paycheck to paycheck, a certain demographic, a vision of a demographic would pop into people's mindset. Well, baby, let me just tell you that that demographic reaches everybody. That statistic, should I say, reaches all demographics. It touches everybody. The folks that's in the "I'm doing all right" category, the folks that's in I'm catching hell category, the folks are in paycheck to paycheck or day by day category. It's a lot of folks that you would be surprised who are really dealing with the gasping for air period right now that this country is in. And I think, let me sum it up this way. Economics and how people are going to pay their utilities, their rent, their mortgage, their car payment, how people are going to eat. We was promised that the cost of living was going to go down in the first quarter of this year. That didn't happen. We were promised that there was going to be an increase in jobs and jobs opportunities and career opportunities. That didn't happen. We have young people who are graduating from school with greater debt than ever before, and they can't find a damn job. So that didn't happen. And you have the rich getting richer and the poor are struggling even more. I say the poor are struggling even more. So I don't have to tell you who to vote for. It's crystal clear where the problem is. So I'm going to stay right there for a moment because I get excited because I champion the cause of the everyday person that's out there trying to make ends meet. And let me say this real quick. I've always been a champion, or a fan, should I say, of the underdog. But I am a big, big fan of those individuals. Watch this. Watch this. Please make a note of this, Dr. King. Those people who get up and go to work every day. Some of them are single parent households. Some of them are two parent households. And those people aren't lazy. Some of them are educated. Some of them are well educated. When I say well educated, I'm saying they have a formal college degree. And those people who get up and go to work every day, they're struggling, they're catching hell, they're not lazy, but they're still trying to make ends meet. And a lot of times people forget about that particular demographic. Mm-hmm. They forget about the person who goes to work every day, law-abiding citizen who actually needs a little help. So I want to speak up for that single-parent household or two-parent household with multiple jobs, taking care of their families, and they're doing everything they can to not ask for it. And by the way, they don't receive any kind of government assistance.
Yes.
But they are catching hell trying to do what and they need help. So I wanted to speak up on behalf of that group.
Wow. Ooh. How do you balance policy with people ensuring decisions reflect community needs?
Repeat your question one more time, please.
How do you balance policy with people ensuring decisions reflect community needs?
Well, I think one of the best ways to balance a policy when you're trying to allocate funding and make sure that certain communities and certain parts or certain segments of the community receive equal or fair or balanced funding, you got to take a look at the need, see where the need is. I think it's important that we are fair in our distribution of funds and appropriating money and allocating funds, but we must put the attention on those areas that haven't had any love in a long time. Those people who are in dire straits. We have to make sure that we're doing that, because I think in these counties and cities where there's multiple county commissioners, multiple city councilmen, what you have to do when you're doing the bargaining and you're leveraging with your colleagues on the city council or your colleagues on the county commission, you need to make sure that they understand that I'm going to support you in your district on this particular initiative. However, I'm going to need your support on this initiative over here. You've got to be straightforward about it. Because if y'all are going to improve the playground equipment on the west side, baby, you're going to have to improve the playground equipment on the south side well, or else nobody get no damn playground equipment.
I love it. I love it.
Dr. King, my mother had 3 boys. She had 3 boys. Mm-hmm. If the neighbor said, well, can Oz have some candy? My mama said, baby, if you ain't got candy for all 3 of them, not one of them can have candy. She said, because I teach my children to share and I teach them to make sure they learn how to give. So unless you got enough candy for all 3, no, he cannot have any candy today. We can't talk about being fair and equitable without fairness and equitability.
Right. Oh, wow. See, so that means that you and I probably came up about the same time, because that's that old school rearing that these kids today need.
And I'm not going to let it, I'm unapologetic about it. I'm not going to let it go. I'm going to be fair about what it is. All 4 of my young adult kids are young adults, they're college graduates. We're blessed. I thank God for them. Christmas comes very easy for me in my household because the most beautiful thing is Cash App. And guess what? I sent all 4 of them the same amount of money. And now that I have 3 grandchildren, the grown folks don't get no money. All the money goes to the grandchildren.
Yep.
And I'm unapologetic about it. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Because guess what? After Christmas, me and my wife still got to pay the water bill, the light bill. We still got to buy some food. She got to get her hair done, and I got to get a haircut.
What's one initiative you're most proud of during your tenure?
I think the initiative that I'm the most proud of is increasing the salary for the Rockdale County employees. By the time I became chairman, CEO of this county, it had been over 10 years since the employees, the nearly 1,000 employees, had received any kind of increase that was worthy of it. On January 4th of 2017, I increased a 3.5% increase all the way to a 5% increase for the employees. Fast forward it to 2022, we did a market study on the pay, salary, and compensation that's in the Atlanta metro market, and we were able to really increase. For an example, a receptionist in Rockdale County, a one-year receptionist in Rockdale County made a measly $22,000 a year. In 2022, I increased her salary where she's now making $32,000 a year as a receptionist. People hadn't seen anything before. There's no way you can hire people and expect them to give their all. And by the way, as you can tell, I'm old school. So I have a strong work ethic, which means what? I work the hell out of people. I understood that if I'm going to work them, I got to pay them. So in order to do that, you had to bring them up to the market rate. We had a high retention. We were losing a lot of people to other cities and counties. And in order to attract and retain the right kind of people, we had to put together a recruiting package that were going to attract the right type of talent that we needed in Rockdale and also retain that talent. Because I got tired of training people, whether they were law enforcement, public safety, or any other department. We were spending all the money getting them trained. After we would get them trained, hell, they go to somewhere else and take all that good training and certification somewhere else. So we had to put our money where our mouth is. I'm most proud of being able to increase the compensation, benefits, salary, and pay for the employees of Rockdale County. There's many things I'm very pleased about, but I believe that's at the top. I believe that's at the top of the chart.
So, how do you foster transparency and trust in local government?
I'll calm down and answer what you just asked. I want you to ask the question one more time because I want you to hear my answer. It's a one-word answer. Go ahead.
How do you foster transparency and trust in local government?
Communication.
It's so easy to say that, but a lot of people don't understand or know how to do that. So
let me break it down. Thank you for pushing me. Let me break it down. First of all, the word communication. The essence of communication is listening. You've got to have good listening skills where you're listening to all parties involved and you take notes by listening. And that's the way you understand what the problems are, by listening to other people. You have to have an open mind and be flexible to understand what's happening in the different districts and the neighborhoods and subdivisions of your community to be able to understand where is the most need is needed inside of your community. So I give a one-word answer: communication. And you're right. It has to be. Now, that listening skills as a leader, as a civic leader, has to be has to be important and relative to the needs of the people on the street.
Hmm. What does effective leadership look like in a county commission setting?
I think effective leadership is centered around follow up and follow through. Oftentimes, people see elected officials or candidates when it's election time. Folks are running for office, and you see them at your local church, you see them in the community. But once they get elected, where in the hell are they? So you got to hold people feet to the fire. And these, let me say this. An elected official should pride him or herself on being accessible. That elected official shouldn't act like they're the queen or the king or the president of the United States, and you got to go through multiple layers just to meet with your city councilman, just to meet with your county commissioner, just to meet with your school board superintendent, just to meet with the sheriff or the police chief. You need to be able to have access to those people. And while they're on the campaign trail, you need to ask them. And I want you to ask this question in front of a lot of people. If I elect you, will I have access to you?
Ooh, boy, let him see that right there. That's like the $1 million question, but that's also the question with the bonus. Because what you're saying is absolutely true. That is absolutely true unequivocally. But how many of them do you honestly think are going to let themselves be held accountable to that or remember what they said to someone just to get a vote?
Well, I think now with all of this technology, social media, and all of what we have, oftentimes when people ask those questions, they got a hot live camera going at the same time. So they're going to record it. And what happens is people will use that stuff against you. And then when you try to run for re-election, they're going to play back what you said and basically what you lied to them about when you ran the first time, and they're gonna let folks know. And when they call your office or stop by your office and they can't ever get a hold of you, they're gonna usually do it live on Facebook or something and tell the whole world about you. So I think that accessibility is very important. Don't get played by a politician. Dr. King, that was the reason why I never really liked identifying or describing myself as a politician. I'm more of a public servant. Ask me why. I'm glad you asked. The reason why I'm a public servant, because I came from public housing and I understand how to serve the people. Absolutely. A politician is riddled in lies, just like Swiss cheese has holes. A politician is riddled in lies. But a public servant is somebody who done stood in a government feed a kid line, had government cheese, powdered milk, who understand paycheck to paycheck. I've had a car repossessed. I've been late on a few things once upon a time in my 59 years of being black is black.
Wow.
So you have to make sure from a leadership standpoint, you don't have to elect somebody who's been through the fire, been through the struggle, but they must be able to identify with the needs of you and your family. Yes. And what's happening in our community right now.
Yes, you're absolutely right about that. And, I'm glad that you did that distinction. The distinction between a public servant and a politician. Let me just ask you your opinion of this because, and when you just pointed that out, it's so relevant. When you think about people that come to you only when it's time for an election, and when they just want to see you then, but they ain't did nothing for you. And so when they ain't done nothing for you, but let's say you got the person that's in your position where you are right now, where you're actually serving the communities and the districts, and you're doing your due diligence. How is it that conversations, I mean, like, I don't know if you've had a conversation with some of these other folk or not, because I'm sure that you have, but in having conversations with those other folk, those politicians, what are some of the things that you've been told that you knew was a bunch of bullpucky?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. And I'm gonna narrow that question down to what I've experienced personally myself. First of all, let me say this. In the world of public service, public could be customer service at your local Walmart, customer service as a classroom teacher, customer service as a school bus driver, police officer, firefighter, or the person that's on the other side of the counter at your doctor's office. I've been in the people business for 40 years, since 1985. I love people. However, it's both rewarding and challenging all at the same damn time.
Yeah.
So I know that I've been called to service. I've been called to service because there have been times and moments anybody in their right mind, including Oz Nesbitt, said, just like Marvin Gaye did, I threw up both my hands because sometimes you get frustrated because people only call on you for what they need and when they need, and then they'll forget you. But that's part of it. You have to be able to accept that. You surely have to have thick skin when you place your name on a ballot, because the people who love you at 8 a.m. will hate the hell out of you at 10 a.m. It's you're never going to satisfy all the people all the time.
Right.
The thing about me, I'm such a realist, and the people in Rockdale, I mean, really, you can come out here and do a poll, and you can ask. They're gonna tell you he's always been the same way all the time. So I'm gonna call a spade a spade. And I don't care whether they're black, white, polka dot, or stripe. It don't matter to me. I'm gonna call it like it is. And when people are in help, I've never asked any one of my constituents, hey, are you Republican, Democrat? It didn't ever matter whether they were black or white, gay or straight. I don't give a flying flip about anything. Help is help. Hunger is hunger. Homelessness is homelessness. Unemployment is unemployment, no matter how you slice it. So if you're going to serve the people, do that. Serve the people. So I think back to the original gist of your question or your concern. Yes, I ran into people who James Brown say, talking loud, saying nothing, like a dull knife, just ain't cutting. There's a lot of politicians out there that are appeasing people. They putting on a fanfare, they putting on a show. But when it comes down to what we said way back in the day in Augusta, down to the nitty gritty, down to the nitty gritty, people can't deliver, or they won't deliver, because they have a lot of politicians play dodgeball. You do remember the game dodgeball, don't you?
Oh, yes, sir.
You played dodgeball right before the street light came on. You remember that, don't you?
Yes, sir.
So a lot of people are playing dodgeball, and now that we've elected them, you can't get anything from them. I'm trying not to cuss.
Well, yeah, actually, you know something. Well, that's gonna have to be a whole nother show. So can you tell us, how do you navigate political pressure while staying true to your values?
I'm rooted and grounded in my faith, and I've had to make some very tough decisions during my political career. But there's never been a decision that was so tough that it did not allow me to literally get on my knees, get alone, and go to God in prayer and ask God for guidance and direction. There have been times when I want to make sure you hear me say this. There have been times when I literally walked into a county commissioner's boardroom meeting, and I was to make a decision and make a vote on that day. As I was walking to my seat, I did not know what decision I was going to make. But because I was in prayer about it, when it was time to take the vote and make the vote, God gave me the right utterance, the right decision to make. And when I made that decision, I slept well.
Mm.
Now, I pissed off some people with some of those decisions, and some of those people celebrated based on the decision, how it fell. It's two things that's going to happen at the end of a ball game. Do you know what those are?
What's that?
A winner,
And a
a
loser.
loser. At every ball game, at every ball game. Tonight is Thursday night, so there's Thursday night football. Get ready to come on here in a little bit. There's going to be a winner of the game, and there's going to be a loser of the game. It is what it is.
What's your vision for Rockdale County over the next 5 years?
So let me be clear, because I don't know who's all watching this broadcast. I am the former chairman of Rockdale County. I served 16 years on the Board of Commissioners, 8 as a regular, and the most recent 8, which wrapped up in December of 2024 as the chairman and CEO of Rockdale County. There's only 2 counties in the state of Georgia that has a CEO chairman form of government. That's DeKalb County and Rockdale. There's the only 2 counties in the state of Georgia that has a CEO form of government. My vision for Rockdale County, now that I was able to impact the upgrade of infrastructure and facilities with a new judicial administrative complex, with the construction of a 30-year talking about Courtesy Parkway about to come to fruition, the widening of Sigmund Road from a 2-lane road to a 4-lane road. I'm so proud of that. I'm proud of the fact that the employees are finally making some real money so they can take care of their families. So my vision for Rockdale County is to continue to make sure that folks understand that Rockdale is one of the 12 metro counties that make up metropolitan Atlanta. We cannot no longer think like we're some small rural or suburban community, but we're part of the major decision making of metropolitan Atlanta. We are a player in Rockdale County. I want to make sure that the pride of Rockdale, people are feeling good and have bragging rights about the community in which they live. And number one, safety, safety, safety. I'll give more money to public safety than to anything else, because before you can upgrade the infrastructure, before you can do any improvements with economic development, the first thing you got to do is make sure that the community is safe.
Wow. So, how do you mentor future civic leaders within your community?
Occasionally, they still reach out to me and ask for advice and insight. And I think, Dr. King, that I have built, and I say this in my most humble voice that I can find right now, I have built a reputation that if you don't want the truth, don't call Oz Nesbitt.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
Because oftentimes I may end up telling you not what I'm going to end up telling you, not what you want to hear, but what you hear. And I may identify you, the person I'm talking to. I may identify them as part of the problem, if not the whole damn problem themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I think correction starts with calling people out. And when I say calling people, you can call somebody out with dignity. You don't have to embarrass a person to call them out.
Mm-hmm.
But if you really want to be corrected and put in the right direction, then let me give you a bit of advice about, first of all, my question is, why do you want to run for office? And what is your motivation? And what is your why? What is your why?
Yes.
I had a person that was running for Congress reach out to me about 3 months ago. And I don't know this person directly. The person reached out to me because somebody else told him, well, if you're going to run, you better call Oz Nesbitt. Well, he called me and I flat out asked him, well, why are you running? You know what he told me? He said, I'm running because I want to make a better life for my 7-year-old son. I damn near hung up the phone in his face. I said, you telling me that you're going to tell the people that you want to represent him so you can make a better life for your 7-year-old son? I say, well, what about Miss Lucille and Miss Mamie, who's on SSI and Social Security? What about that hard-working school teacher who's got to work an extra job when she get out of the classroom dealing with them bad behind students? Now she got to go over to Walmart or Kohl's or Belk's or one of these department stores or a restaurant and make extra. And you telling me that you trying to make a better life for your son? So people got it all twisted. I want to also know, if you telling me you running for office, Janet Jackson asked the question. Remember the question she asked?
What's that?
What have you done for me lately?
Oh, yes.
And the question that she didn't get to ask in the song, here's the question she didn't get to ask in the song. Who the hell are you?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
What have you done for me lately? And who the hell are you? And what makes you think just because you put your name on the ballot, we gonna vote for you? What have you done for anybody? Where did you come from? What's your background? Who are you? These kinds of questions that must be asked.
Right.
I know we close on our time. I want to make sure I say this real quick.
Oh, we're good.
Okay. This upcoming midterm election, this upcoming gubernatorial election in the state of Georgia, nobody, and I'm going to be very candid. I'm about to be very candid. There's my disclaimer. One more time. I'm about to be very candid. No one that looks like me or you should have to be pushed or pulled to the polls. Let me say it again. No one. I don't bet Boo-Boo, Ray Ray, Pookie, Peaches, any of them. Anybody that looks like us should not have to be pushed or pulled to the polls. A lot of people don't pay attention to the significance of the upcoming midterm elections. Most of the emphasis are placed on the general election that will take place again in 2028.
If we get that.
But you have got to empower the current senators and U.S. representatives during the midterm so they can get better position for the general election. And your local election. I can't tell you the last time I seen a president on Highway 138 in Conyers, Georgia. But you see your city councilman, your sheriff, your county commissioner, your police chief, your school superintendent, your tax commissioner all the time. They shop where you shop. They eat where you eat. They get their hair cut where you get your hair cut. They go to the same churches that you go to. Those are the people where the rubber meets the road. Those are the people that matter.
So let's go over to your work with the 100 Black Men of America, and continue with your mentorship. What drew you to the mission of 100 Black Men of America?
So my original chapter was somewhere back in 1993, 94. I was still in Augusta, Richmond County, my hometown. That's where I joined originally. I most recently joined the New Rock chapter. The Newton and Rockdale chapter is called New Rock, chapter of the 100 Black Men that serves both Newton County and Rockdale County. Their mission is very plain and clear to me. This is an organization that is committed to saving the lives of our young people, particularly our young Black boys. We do work with young girls as well, but particularly there's always been a major emphasis on our young Black male population, to make sure that these young people are afforded the opportunity to learn how to go from boys to men, to have an opportunity to enter into college or into a technical school, or for those young people who have a desire to join one of our local armed forces, that they get an opportunity to be coached, mentored, and guided by the right mindset of a real man, of a real man. There's a lot of households in all of these communities. They don't have the presence of male influence. And I must say this too. There are some households where there is a male present, not a man, but a male.
Uh,
I
I'm
told
sorry, that's funny, but I
I,
know what you mean.
there's a big difference between a man and a male. So we work with some young people. There is a male present in the house, but there's no man. And let me say this. I was raised, my two brothers and I was raised by a single black strong woman. I had a wonderful relationship with my father who did not live in my house, but I had a wonderful, very good relationship with my father. However, it was also the influence of other males, men at my church, in my local schools and communities that influenced my life. Okay. But I have to give credit to my mother, my Aunt Mattie, and my grandmother. They were three strong women, and neither one of those women ever tried to be a man.
They were just, women are just strong like that.
You gotta let a woman be a woman and let a man be a man. Let me calm down. Let me calm down and say that. Because somebody, you gotta let a woman be a woman, and you gotta let a man be a man. I have a wife and 4 kids. 2 of my kids are girls, and 2 of my kids are boys. I can have just about any and every conversation that my wife can have with my daughters. Daddy can have it with the daughters too. Just about any conversation. And I do just about any conversation. But one thing I am not, I'm not a woman.
Right.
I'm a man.
Right. Right.
I'm going to leave that right there.
So, how does the organization empower young black men in tangible ways?
Well, we do things from teaching them not only the academics of reading, writing, and math and mathematics and arithmetic, but we also teach them strong work ethic. Something as basic as how to learn how to tie a tie, how to shake hands, how to publicly speak, making good eye contact, how to speak up, as I would say. We time management. We teach people those core values that you and I was taught way back in the day, that your word is your what?
Bond.
Your bond. And a lot of people don't know, what do you mean when you say bond? What is that? In other words, if I tell you I'm gonna be there at 7 o'clock, chances are I'll be there at 6:45.
Right.
Chances are I'll be there at 6:45. So teaching those very essential fundamentals of how powerful your words are, and that you're creating a brand as you develop your character. Let me say that again. You are creating a brand as you are developing your character. By the time a young person makes it to the 5th grade, the foundation of their character has 80% been established.
Yes.
Let me give it to you again. By the time a young person makes it to the 5th grade, 80% of their character has been